All right, I think we are good. Trying to make sure that we are on here. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. Hey, friends. Happy Pie Day and welcome back to Do It with Daisy. Okay, so if I've got any math enthusiasts watching, you probably heard me say that and we're like, what? It's not Pie Day. Okay, that's true. But we're going to pretend it is because we're doing all the pies today. We have chicken pot pies, we have apple pies, and for dinner, we're going to make shepherd's pie because Waffles wanted chicken and carrots, both of which I like to put in my chicken pot pies, right? So that made it really easy to make some chicken pot pies to just kind of keep on hand in the freezer. And I do have the recipe for those in the official Do It with Daisy cookbook. So definitely check that out. So we can go ahead and so we prepared these. These ones are not cooked yet. We want them to still be raw when we put them in the freezer. That way they don't get overcooked, the chicken doesn't get dried out, and we can really enjoy it just as much as we would have if we had made them fresh instead of frozen. And the apple pies, uh, these do look a little bit different than the ones that you see me make in our honey puppy pie video and the ones that you see in the official Do It with Daisy cookbook. I made them the same way. The only difference is that I milled the flour myself and it didn't stick together as much as store-bought flour typically does. So I went ahead and added some oats in there and made it a little bit more of a crumble this time. So those are our like classic pies. Yeah, because you asked for chicken, didn't you? Yes, you did. Do you need mom to give you a bite? Yeah, bite of chicken. Bite of chicken. Um, So the whole idea behind this was, you know, I don't always have, and I know I'm not alone here. I know I'm not alone here when I say I don't always have the easiest time feeding myself, but feeding her is not even a, there's no second thought that goes into it. It's pretty simple. So she helps me feed myself. When she asks for chicken and carrots, then I'm going to make her chicken and carrots. And when I look at the recipe that she needs that calls for both chicken and carrots, then I notice the other things it calls for. And these are recipes that are created and designed by licensed veterinary nutritionists. So so they are going to be a lot healthier than whatever junk food I'm likely to grab for myself. Do you think we need to start making the shepherd's pie? Yes. Okay. So while we're talking about this, let's go ahead and get our beef cooking for our shepherd's pie. I know it, honey. Mama cooking it right now. This is hot. All right. We also need mashed potatoes for shepherd's pie. So I wanted to make sure that I show you exactly how I make our mashed potatoes as well. And we're going to use only dog safe ingredients. That's really the easiest way for me to continue eating healthy is to stick to only dog safe ingredients. And that really it helps even more than you can imagine because I'm never going to feed my dog like potato chips um or sugar or like, all the things that I struggle with, I'm never going to feed those things to my dog. So when I'm eating really healthy food, it's pretty much always dog safe anyway. The only exceptions would be like when I eat onions or garlic. And if we're going to be completely honest, I don't eat well enough, often enough to be concerned about onions and garlic. The idea of having onions and garlic in my kitchen, fabulous. Sounds phenomenal. The practicality of me cooking, if it's not for my dog, is very minimal. I'm probably not going to cook unless I'm cooking for my dog. So I might as well, while I'm cooking for her, make something for myself that is much healthier than anything I would ordinarily eat. And I'll eat some garlic when my mama makes it for me. So, first step to making shepherd's pie is to get your mashed potatoes mashed, right? And we want them to still be hot for that. So, I've had these on the stove, kind of like simmering. They're all the way tender. I can like totally smash them with my fingers. There you go. So they're all the way tender, but we want them to still be hot because I'm going to be adding in some other ingredients go that melt into here and mix a lot better if the potatoes are still hot. So I've got our hot potatoes, Waffles, leave it. We're also going to add some Greek yogurt and we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. Now, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I am keeping an eye on the comments as we're going so I can answer your questions as they come in. Now, a lot of times I also like to put milk in here, but that's more for like a holiday thing because it makes them really rich and delicious and it's not entirely necessary. It does make them smash a lot easier when you add hot milk into them. It's just because you're adding a hot liquid though. The same thing can be accomplished with water if we need it. However, with how easily these are mashing, I don't think we're going to need them. I think that I cooked them really well, and we're gonna go ahead and dump the water. Before I tell you what makes this what makes it really exciting to me. Good girl, stay. Good girl, stay. All right, I'm gonna show you guys from the upper side. Nice steamy potatoes. Mash those. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to give our potatoes a little bit of a mash while they're still hot. Potatoes mash easiest while they're hot, gets them nice and soft. But once you cool them down, then they're not as easy to mash. They're still pretty tender when you cool them down because they are still cooked, but they're just not as easy to mash. Good girl. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm just going to get these potatoes mashed real quick before we add in the next ingredient. And yeah, I've got my eye on the comments section though, so you just let me know whatever you want to know. And then I will let you know. Oh man, words are fun to play with, guys. I know this isn't actually a potato masher. I'm pretty sure I have one, but I just don't use it because it's just black. Like just one solid shade, not a color, just a shade. And I like blue. It's bright and uplifting, and this spoon with holes in it is working great for this. All right, so we've got our potatoes mashed here. Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and include this beef footage from this camera um, in the post on our OnlyFans page that is going to have this recipe in it. So we'll have the replay here on YouTube and on OnlyFans, and we will have all of the extra features on our OnlyFans page so that they can all stay together. All right, so those are mashed. So now I want to add in our cheese while it's still hot. Of course, we're going to be adding all of our ingredients in while it's hot, but we want to add the cheese first because that way it has a chance of really getting well incorporated as it melts. Now, whatever spices you like, this is a good time to add them in as well. A lot of times I'll just do like some salt and pepper, but tonight I am planning on having, I'm planning on sharing this with my guests. So I want to let everyone season theirs on their own. I'm going to let everyone determine their own amount of salt and pepper that they want to use. Got that cheese well incorporated. Give it a little taste. Yeah, it needs more. There isn't that much left in this. We're just going to go like that. Hang on. There you go. No, keep it here. Thank you. And so when I'm making my holiday potatoes, I add milk like we talked about before. When I'm making my holiday potatoes, I add milk like we talked about before, and I also add butter. But since this is not the holidays and we're not going overboard, we are not going to use butter. Good girl. All right. All done with that one. We'll do more. Okay. Here. Another common thing to add into mashed potatoes is sour cream, which is really good, but it gives me a little bit of bellyache. Greek yogurt does not. So we're going to go ahead and add some Greek yogurt. I always get these smaller containers, which seems wasteful given how much Greek yogurt I eat, but anytime I get one of the bigger containers, it always goes bad before I even get halfway through it. So I end up actually wasting more when I get the bigger containers. And so it just goes to show, like, every once in a while you'll come across certain things where waste isn't really what you expect it to be. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Oh my gosh, these are so good. All right, so we do not need the second container of Greek yogurt because that first container just about does it. That's one thing that you can really like count on for Greek yogurt. When you get just plain Greek yogurt, it's super good for you, really good for digestion, helps to prevent any like stomach bugs because it's got like active cultures and everything, and it's a probiotic, no sugar, and it's got a nice sharp flavor. So that is so good as a sour cream replacement. Oh man, that's so good. Okay, guys, hang on. Let's stir our beef, right? Good girl, stay. Appreciate you guys watching my dog for me. That mashed potatoes off my fingers. All right. So you may have noticed me playing around with two separate pans back there. That is because I cook my meat separate from hers. See, her meat needs to be measured out before it's cooked. So the only way to ensure that she gets the exact appropriate amount of protein and fat and iron and all the things that she needs is to measure it out and cook it separately from mine. However, it's still super helpful in making sure that I eat enough food because I can have my pan going at the same time as hers. And when I just cook food only for her, I start to get a little bit stressed out because I'm like, okay, when am I going to fit my food in? Am I even going to eat today? You know what? Maybe I just won't even eat today. And that's not how we care for ourselves, okay? So, anytime that you're doing something special for your dog, take a moment to really consider if it's something that you've done for yourself lately. Oh my gosh, these are so good. They're so rich. I really want to add another thing of Greek yogurt because I think I forgot to film like the close up of me putting the Greek yogurt in. And my perfectionist brain is like, you need to get all the shots. But I can't. I can't, like, that would be a disservice to these mashed potatoes because they're so good just like this. I notice anytime I give waffles some, it's like a little crumb on my fingertips. Good girl. Now, typically a shepherd's pie is, let's move these over. Now, typically a shepherd's pie is going to have a mashed potato crust. So let's go ahead and build our crust here. I want to make sure that I can give you guys a really great vantage point when you guys are looking at the behind the scenes stuff and all the extra footage. I want to make sure you get the best vantage point. So we'll go ahead and do that one from up up and down kind of point. So I do like to build kind of like a bottom crust. A lot of people just do like a ring of mashed potatoes and then put the meat in the middle. Um, but I do like a bottom crust on my shepherd's pie. So I just kind of like form a little bit of a crust on the bottom. We'll grab some mashed potatoes and really make it go like up the sides too. It's also very common to make this with lamb. And I will tell you, lamb is my favorite way to make shepherd's pie. Um, Especially because like shepherds are typically herding sheep, right? That's why we call them shepherds. Um, but beef is a very common substitute as well. And Waffles is having beef tonight, so I figured we could have beef tonight. Plus, the guests that I'm having over have expressed to me that they like beef more than they like lamb. So I'm gonna go ahead and that's what we're doing. We're gonna make a beef shepherd's pie. Just keep building that crust up until we run out of potatoes. And then when we run out of potatoes, we'll fill it with beef. I do also like to put like some some sautéed or roasted root vegetables. So I will probably like run out and grab some turnips and beets and parsnips and I have carrots. We always I always make sure that we have carrots on hand because that's Waffles' like favorite thing ever is carrots. Isn't it, Waffles? Do you love carrots? Yeah, you love them so much. Does Mama need to make carrots for Puppy today? Yeah. You want to do beef and carrots for dinner? Yeah, okay, all right. We'll do that then. Hang on, I'm almost done building this shepherd's pie crust. I hear our hamburger behind us. It's probably pretty close to done too. And I am going to let Waffles lick my pot, so it's really, really important to get as much of these mashed potatoes out of here as possible. I want her to enjoy herself and have a fun experience, but I don't want her to eat like crazy amount of excess calories, especially because I am not a vet and I'm not a veterinary nutritionist. So I'm not pretending to know what is the best balance of nutrients for my dog. I do, however, know that based on what I have read by veterinary nutritionists, it is perfectly safe for her to have up to 10% of her daily nutrition in just dog safe food. So um, that's where we get our treat allowance from. And now we have this beautiful shepherd's pie crust. Except it's not crusty. So, like, do we call it a crust or do we just call it a mash? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm going to set this aside so that she can clean it later because otherwise it's going to be knocking all over the place while we're trying to show you what we're doing here. Girls say. Okay. Oh, looks like we've got some new viewers. Thank you guys for joining us today. If you've got any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. I am keeping an eye on those so I can answer your questions as they roll in. We have made we've made the crust for our shepherd's pie. Actually, that's a really good shot. We made the crust for our shepherd's pie, and we also talked about all of the other pies that we are making today for Pie Day, even though like Pie Day is a little ways away. Like the literal Pie Day where we celebrate the number pi is a little bit away. But Waffles had asked for chicken and carrots, and so I decided like we were gonna have chicken pie this week. So we made some chicken pie over the weekend, and because I was already making chicken pot pie, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna have for dessert? Duh, apple pie. So we made the chicken pot pie, we made the apple pie, and then today I realized Waffles is almost out of beef food, and she requested beef for dinner tonight. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I know exactly what to do. We are going to make shepherd's pie to go with all of our other pies. Doesn't that sound fabulous, you guys? Like, this is just where my brain train is going, and we go, toot, toot, all aboard. Because we're all on board, right? Like, we are so all on board for a day of pie. So, I will say, like, I actually did a couple of these. Let me show you. So, I ran out of crust when I was making the pie, so I threw a little bit of egg white on top of one. Well, a couple. I already ate two of these for breakfast. Good girl, stay. And then I want to show you some of the other ways that some of the variations we can do. Okay, so first up, We have a couple pies that just came straight from the refrigerator. I hadn't frozen these yet. I did do a test run freezing a couple of the pies before cooking to make sure that they would turn out just as delicious, and they totally did. And you know what I found very interesting is these guys that came directly out of the refrigerator and into the oven took the same amount of time to bake as no, not those ones, as these ones, which I froze ahead of time to make sure that they were going to be just as delicious when they got out of the freezer. They totally are. Actually, we should probably test them, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here, you can have a little bit. Test this one too. Mm. Yeah, so good. Mm. Is that a nice way to ask? All right. Those are very clearly very good. I'm going to try not to smash more of it into my face right now. So those took the same exact amount of time to cook, even though one came from the freezer and one came from the refrigerator. I feel like there's some kind of memory in my noggin from back in my science learning days that is like, of course that makes sense because frozen stuff comes to a boil faster than not frozen stuff or warm stuff. And I'm like, wait, but I wasn't boiling anything. But then technically I was because we were creating steam in order to bake the pies. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I don't know because I didn't end up going into science as a career. I know, Mama was a little bit much there, huh? Yeah, Mom, a little much. And then we finished this off with a test that included egg wash. Can you see? Look, can you see how golden that top one is? This one didn't get as golden. It had an egg wash as well. And if you compare it to the ones without an egg wash, it is more golden. But it didn't have the same effect as the cobbler style one that had oats in it. So there must be something sciencey behind the reasoning for that too. Let's taste it. It's crispier, which actually tracks because when you fry an egg, if you fry it for too long, which part gets crispy? The whites, right? So those are all the pies that we had ready to go ahead of time. And now we're working on our shepherd's pie. I have a feeling the beef is almost done. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so close. It's so close. Still a little bit of pink though, so I don't it's not we're not gonna leave it like that. Okay, but also, you know what just happened in my noggin just now? I just thought, what about a top crust for our shepherd's pie? We could so melt cheese all over it. And then I realized, oh, I don't want that much cheese. That would no, thank you. But we might take this down a little bit, like take this down a little bit so that we can use the some of the mashed potatoes as a top crust. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how we're feeling. Remember, we always want to cook with our heart. That's how we put love into our food that we share with others. This is very hot waffles. That's why I'm staying over here with it. Mama cooking your beef though. Cooking beef for beef soup. Yeah. Yeah, cooking beef for beef soup for waffles. Okay. So another thing to keep in mind, when you're having mashed potatoes or potatoes in general, a lot of people get caught up because they're a simple carb and it's not really like the super best food for your metabolic health. Not true. Not true. You just have to like cool them down first and then you can heat them up and eat them. And that's really perfect for this dish because I'm going to be serving it tonight and eating it with a group of people, which means that I can cool it in the refrigerator and then I'll rewarm it in the oven before dinner. So that's going to make this so perfect. And yeah, does anyone have any questions about anything that we're making? Go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'm going to grab the beef off the stove so we can fill our pie. All right. So this looks beautiful. Oh, wait. Hang on. Okay, this is almost done. Almost. I saw a pink spot, so we're not going to take any risks. Now, while we're waiting for our beef to finish up, I'm going to go ahead and go through where you guys can find some of these recipes in the official Do It With Daisy cookbook. So, if you grab your official Do It With Daisy cookbook, you want to turn to the chicken section first. Oh, I just passed it. Oh wait, no, that was the other pie. So we want to go to the chicken section, and that's where you'll find dog safe crispy crust. That's how we make the crust of our chicken pot pie. And then after you make your dog safe crispy crust, notice that there is a notes section in every single recipe. That way you don't have to squeeze your notes in the margin when you change something. Because let's be honest, we all have our own way that we like to make our food. That's part of cooking with your heart. So I have a note section in there so you don't have to either try really hard to remember how you do things differently or squeeze your notes in the margins. That's not necessary. I want you to be able to see your thoughts loud and clear. We're doing all this together. Plus, even I don't make the same anything the same way twice. So I like to write down my notes when I stumble across a new variation of one of these dishes that is really fun and I want to repeat. And then on the following page, on page 41, we've got our dog safe chicken pot pie. Now, if you go back to the bonus recipes, that's where you will find our dog safe flaky pie crust. That's what's really good with dessert pies. And our dog safe apple pie filling. Now, this recipe is one we're just kind of making off the fly of our pants, the shepherd's pie. So that one you won't find in the cookbook, but if you would like an update, make sure you send me a message on OnlyFans. All right, now this is ready. Here we go, guys. I want waffles to be in frame. Yum. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. Give you guys a little up and downsy. Show you just like that. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so good? So here's where we're gonna do things a little differently than anticipated. I'm gonna shove all this down because I actually have some more ground beef in my refrigerator. You guys wanna see? More ground beef in here. More ground beef because we're gonna heat it up later anyways. Oh. All right, that is plenty because I will also have some vegetables on the side too. So now we've got to decide if we're going to close it up or if we're going to keep it like this. And I think we're going to close it up. So let's go ahead and we'll grab a little spoon here and go ahead and mash some of these potatoes on top. And then I'll build the walls up a little higher once I get the top crust formed, so to speak. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll build up these walls a little bit higher just so that we have the full aesthetic of like a pie. Gosh, how cute is that? Okay, there we go. There's our shepherd's pie. All right, so now this is going to go in the refrigerator until dinner tonight. That's going to go in the refrigerator until dinner tonight. And then it'll go in the oven. The top layer of these mashed potatoes will get a little crispy, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. Now, Waffles, this is hot. Now for Waffles food, we're going to add in her nutrient mix that was balanced by the licensed veterinary nutritionist at the Farmer's Dog. It's always important to make sure that whatever you're feeding your dog, whether it's fresh, whether it's raw, whether it's kibble, you're getting it from a reputable dog food company that has a licensed veterinary nutritionist on staff. The reason that this is important is because there's so many little details that go into balancing an animal's food, and there are so many different animals, different breeds of dogs, different activity levels, that it takes a lot to learn what each animal needs in order to what an individualized diet looks like for any individual animal. So your general practicing vet is not going to want to recommend a specific type of food, and they're definitely not going to balance food for you because even they don't have the expertise that it takes to be able to safely do that. Instead, you want a veterinarian who has completed their veterinary training and has also completed extra specialty training to get a PhD in animal nutrition and then get certified with the AAVCN, I believe it is, the American, you know, I don't know the full abbreviation, but I will find it for you if it's something that you are not able to find for yourself. But really, all you need is the phrase veterinary nutritionist. Make sure that your dog's food has a veterinary nutritionist on staff. They're the one that's going to be balancing the recipes and making sure that there are no deficiencies here. So I will take my nutrients that were balanced by the team of veterinary nutritionists at the Farmer's Dog and mix this in here. I do have a partnership with the Farmer's Dog, but I do not get paid for selling their DIY plan, so this product is not sponsored. I just have I believe very much in this business, and I'm very passionate about the work that they do and the way that they do it. Most most dog food companies have a single veterinary nutritionist on hand just so that they can like basically check the box, know that everything's good, know that everything's safe. But the Farmer's Dog goes above and beyond by hiring multiple veterinary nutritionists as well as veterinarians that are building a specialty in veterinary nutrition, and they are at the forefront of all veterinary nutrition research when it comes to canine nutrition. So there's a lot of reasons why I go with the Farmer's Dog, but really their experts are above and beyond any standards and any expectations. Get that fully mixed in so that we can't see any of it. Sure, honey, you can have that little bit. I just got to cool it a little. There you go. All right. Now her recipe does also call for spinach, which I did not realize I ran out of. So I'm going to leave this, and then that way I can add in the spinach because I know that she's not going to eat that particular leafy green by itself. But if it's mixed in with her hamburger, she'll absolutely eat it. Does anyone have any final questions before we sign off? Right. If you have any final questions, go ahead and drop them. I will check it to see if there's anything I can answer one more time before I end the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure that you're subscribed to me, subscribe to all of my channels because we have so much more fun content to share with you. And also, if you found this video to be fun and helpful, make sure that you like this post and share it with a friend. Oh, you are so welcome. Alwyn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for expressing that appreciation, and thank you so much for being here. Let me know if there's anything that we can help you with or if you have any specific recommendations. The replay will be live as soon as we hit X, so definitely do not hesitate to leave any comments requesting any other dishes. We will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining us.